Joining us now with his take on the Auston Matthews' new role with the Leafs is John Tavares, host of Hot Take Hockey Podcast. Thanks for joining us, John. Obviously, it's a big moment for Auston. I'm curious, so how do you think this is going to impact the team and the team's performance moving forward?
Thank you, Jamie. And yeah, there's a lot to look at here from John Tavares handing on the baton and Auston Matthews taking over here. I think it's a perspective for the team and a perspective for the new coach also coming in, Craig Berube. I think leadership is everything. And I think John Tavares realizing that, and regardless of who really sparked this decision, I think John Tavares being the hometown guy, really entering a contract year, same as Mitch Marner. I think Auston Matthews signing that new contract, as Phil mentioned, and that's going to be a huge new step for this team. You want to have that vocal guy, that best player on your team being the best, and Auston Matthews is that. And hopefully that really goes into that leadership. I think when you've seen some of the clips behind the scenes, Auston Matthews being that vocal guy, I think John Tavares has really been seen as just kind of a follow suit leadership mentality, where Auston Matthews may be more of that vocal when it matters in that third period. When you're down, we've seen in the playoffs, the Leafs really having a tough time getting out of the gutter. So whether it's looking at it as him being the best player, one of the best players in the league, but also being maybe a more vocal leader in that room, seeing guys eye to eye, I think that could really go a long way. It's
kind of highlighting the meritocracy of this announcement is that, you know, this is arguably one of the most talented players that has ever worn a Toronto Maple Leaf jersey, and I'm sure there's I'm sure there's many people out there that will all agree that, besides the fact that this was a good call, that this was someone that deserved the C.
Yeah, I think when you talk about Auston Matthews, and even listening to an interview with former teammate Tyler Ennis recently, he talked about Auston Matthews and Connor McDavid, really that demeanor that they have, wanting to be the best, wanting their team to be the best. And you just watched Connor McDavid, a captain, being one of the best players in the league, lead the Edmonton Oilers to a Stanley Cup final. I think that's the perspective here for Toronto. John Tavares is great of a player he's been over his career, and by the end, maybe you're arguing Hall of Fame status. Auston Matthews, currently a top 5 player in the league, and was a first overall pick in 2016. He's got all of the elements of the best and one of the best leaders in the league. So I think it was just about time. I think it was very much a learning process throughout his career so far. And he's had the A, he's had leadership abilities, but now he really has it stamped on his chest with that C. So now guys are going to look to him even more. They already were, and now more so from the coach and management. I think Auston Matthews is going to have all involvement when it comes down to decisions, comes down to down the stretch moves prior to the trade deadline, and just overall bringing this team together for hopefully finally a long playoff run.
John, I'm curious, what are some of your friends, colleagues, sports analysts saying about this decision?
Yeah, so everyone I've talked to, I mean, going back, and obviously Auston Matthews there was an off-ice issue and early on in his career that maybe he was the captain back then. There's been the conversations about a Morgan Riley, BC boy, longest tenured Leaf so far. Mitch Marner, hometown boy, but he's entering a contract year as well. So I think for the most part, Jamie, people are on the page with Auston Matthews. I've had some people say this is a bit of a surprise for John Tavares because maybe you were just going to wait until the contract year, but I think the overall consensus that I've got is this erases distractions going into 2 prominent contract years with Mitch Marner and John Tavares, and Auston Matthews just being the best player and one of the best players in the league. I think it was time to hand the baton to him. So for the most part, I think people are happy with this decision. And I mean, Auston Matthews going to be named captain as of over the next half an hour.
Looking forward to it. John Tavares, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.